Hello class, welcome to Algebra Lesson 4.3, which is all about solving systems of equations by elimination. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to solve systems of linear equations using the elimination method. I'm going to split this lesson into two parts. Today we're going to cover just the adding and subtracting our two equations together. Tomorrow we'll talk about having to multiply and change some of the numbers so we can do this process. But for today we're going to keep it on the simpler side. Alright, so example 1, solve a system of equations by adding. So remember, we've been practicing solving systems of equations multiple ways. We started in lesson 4.1 by graphing and seeing where do they intersect. That's our solution. And then we, in lesson 4.2, talked about how to solve systems of equations using substitution. So that way is nice when you have like a variable all by itself, kind of like we have in this example here. We have x all by itself and y all by itself in that top equation. But I'm going to teach you another way to solve today. Remember, a solution to a system of equations is an ordered pair. So that means we have to figure out what x is and we have to figure out y. It does not matter which one you figure out first. Okay, so if I look at this, this problem, I have two different equations. I have x plus y equals 7 and 2x minus y equals 2. So elimination is where you add and subtract entire equations together in order to get rid of a variable. So the first thing you want to do is look and see, do I have any variables that have the same coefficient? The same number in front of it. So for x, I have a 1 and a 2, so those don't match, so I'm going to ignore that for now. But y, I have a 1 and a 1. Okay, so I'm going to do something with those y's. I want to try to get them to cancel out. So right now, I have a positive 1y in the top equation and a negative 1y in the bottom equation. Since those are already opposites, I know that I can just add my entire equations and my y's will cancel. So what I mean by that is I'm going to take x plus 2x. So what's x plus 2x? X plus 2x is 3x. And then if I were to say y plus a negative y, that would just be 0. So I'm not going to write anything. I'm going to say equals, and then I have 7 plus 2, which is 9. A common mistake I'll see people make is they'll forget to add those numbers that are all by themselves. All right, so now that I've done this, you can see my y is gone, which is great because now I can solve for x. So I have 3x equals 9. 3x is the same as 3 times x. Undo your multiplication with division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. I have x equals 3. And now what I'm going to do with this 3 is plug it in to either of my original equations. Okay, so if I plug 3 into the top one, I have 3 plus y equals 7. If I subtract 3 from both sides, I have y equals 4. And in case you don't believe me yet when I say that you can do something, let's test it out. 2 times 3 minus y equals 2. 2 times 3 is 6 minus y equals 2, minus 6, negative y equals negative 4. To get y positive, I'm going to divide by a negative 1, and I have y equals positive 4. So you can see I ended up at the same answer for y, no matter which equation I used. Okay? So what I'm going to say is pick one of your starting equations. Then the last step that people sometimes forget is, again, we're solving for ordered pairs. Write your answer, write your solution as an ordered pair. Okay? Now here's a question for you to solve. Good luck. All right, for this question on your own, hopefully you ended up with x equals 2 and y equals negative 1. I showed my work here on the board for you to check and compare your work with in case you didn't get that answer. And something that I will tell you, like in this problem, I solved for y first, and then I solved for x second. Be careful when you're writing your ordered pair. Your y value goes second, right? Because our ordered pairs are always x comma y. Sometimes I see students that just start their ordered pair in the order that they solve them. Okay, that is not correct. So make sure you always write your x first, then your y second. But it doesn't matter which order you solve them in first. All right, our second example for today is solve a system of equations by subtracting. So on the top, I have negative 2x minus 9y equals negative 25. On the bottom, I have negative 4x minus 9y equals negative 23. So I have a negative 2 here, a negative 4 here. That doesn't help me for solving, so I'm going to just leave those alone. I have a negative 9 and a negative 9. Okay, so if I were to add negative 9 plus a negative 9, I end up at negative 18, which is not what I want. But if I do negative 9 minus a negative 9, those end up canceling, okay? So that's why we are going to subtract this entire equation. So I'm going to say minus, and a common error I see students make is they don't subtract everything. They subtract the first term, and that's it. So make sure you always come back to this minus. So I have negative 2 minus negative 4. Minus and negative becomes plus, so I have negative 2 plus 4, which is just a positive 2x. Then I have negative 9 plus, or minus a negative becomes plus. Negative 9 plus 9 is 0, so that cancels. Negative 25 minus a negative 23, again, that becomes plus, so I have a negative 2. Now, 2x equals negative 2, x equals a negative 1, right? Because I divided both sides by 2. All right, now I'm just going to plug that in. Negative 2 times the negative 1 minus 9y equals negative 25. So that's a 2, positive 2, minus 9y equals negative 25. Subtract 2 from both sides. I have negative 27. Divide both sides by a negative 9. I have a positive 3. Okay, so my ordered pair, my x value is a negative 1. My y is a 3. Okay, so once you figure out if you have to add versus subtract, the process is the same. Okay, it's the exact same between addition and subtraction. Now, here's the last thing for today's lesson. I want you to try this one on your own. Good luck. All right, for this last problem here that I'm having you do, hopefully you got an answer of 5, 6. If not, please be sure to reach out for some help, and I'm happy to help you. If you don't understand this, you're not going to understand part 2 tomorrow, so you really want to make sure that you are asking questions when you need help. Remember, I'm never judging you for your questions. I'm happy to help you. That's why I became a teacher, okay? So ask those questions, learn how to do this. I hope you have a great day.